Welcome to Redvee TV's Instant Reaction, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2024 season. Following St Helens' 24-10 defeat here against the Warrington Wolves this evening. Before we start, it's Chapel House Car Swap weekend. Get yourself down to Chapel House and they will give you a better performance in the showroom than the Saints show tonight, in what, quite frankly, was awful.
Thank you. Yes.
Talk us
We need someone to discuss awful. Let's bring on a Crabbit Scotsman. Crabbit, for those listening, just means miserable.
Where's
party.
Scotland in the Euros?
It's on a par, I would have to say.
Scotland look more like scoring
Let's not be rash.
against 11.
Let's not be rash. I'm normally quite positive. I can't find a single positive about that tonight. I don't want to be a boo boy, but we have to be honest. We have to give our genuine, heartfelt opinions. We had 50 minutes against 12. We had 10 minutes against 11. They look more dangerous in the last 10 minutes. They actually won the second half with fewer players on the pitch. Credit to Warrington, they played really well. They didn't have to be. They weren't stretched in defence. That was on us. But fair play to them. First of all, not going to be a bad loser. But that's an absolute shocker from Saints tonight. There's a lot of guys need to be looking themselves in the mirror and ask if they're doing enough. I'm talking about the senior guys here. Young guys are excused. With enough senior pros on that pitch tonight, even allowing for the guys who are missing, to guide the team, especially when we're coming back into it at 12-10. We had the foot in the throat and we should have gone for the kill. We should have had that game won. But the panic with ball in hand, the handling was awful at times. Made wrong decisions, trying to fire offloads that weren't on. And we just looked absolutely clueless in attack. And then once they get downfield, we kept giving them penalties, giving them opportunities to score. They took it, and it's a horror show tonight. I hate being negative, but I can't sugarcoat it. You've got to be realistic. You've got to be honest, and that was a shocker.
Well, that's it then. If Peter's being negative, that's the end.
You mentioned the Euros, so I've got to be negative after that.
I thought Wyatt were excellent. Only them going down to 12 saved us from getting beat by 50.
Yeah, full credit to them. They look like the team with energy. They look like the team with the extra player. They even looked, when they had 11, as Peter says, like the team who were going to score next. Listen, it's similar to the Cass one.
Is it worse, given that they went down to 12 so early on?
Yeah, you can argue that, absolutely. Absolutely, you can.
This isn't a positive. I'm not going to criticise effort tonight.
Yeah.
Talent, creativity, and doing the basics right, I will.
I think your halfbacks have to do more. I think when you are against 11, your halfbacks have to drag them one way, drag them the other, and there's gaps. There's an extra man on each side. I mean, they're defending with two less men, and we just didn't look like we were looking for them gaps. Have we got the yips? Are we worried about throwing a ball out that doesn't stick? Well, you know what? You can have all the effort and all the willing, and we did show that more, I think, than the Cass game. But you're right, the actual execution of things tonight, it looked so far off a Saints team that you come and you think, why do we keep coming here and expecting to see something when the past couple of weeks have shown us at times we're not going to see something different?
Yeah. Can I just say, actually, you mentioned the point about the effort. I don't think necessarily that's something that should be overly praised, because that should be a prerequisite for a professional sports outfit.
I only say that because against Castleford, I did not feel the effort was there either.
No, that's a fair point. I think the last couple of weeks that has certainly improved, but unfortunately the results haven't. You mentioned obviously the talent, certainly the execution. It was abysmal.
Is the most criminal aspect of that tonight is they went down to 11 and we looked like we were defending. Well, we were attacking against 14 defenders.
Well, yeah, we didn't look at any stage as if we were going to create any sort of gap. We didn't number up well in attack.
Is that on the players or is that on the coach?
There's an opportunity to say potentially it's both, but as I said, on the field we have enough leaders, we have enough guys.
Who are the leaders in the team at the minute?
Well, I don't want to name individuals when I'm criticising, but
you're not criticising, but who are our leaders on that pitch at the moment?
In attack, you've got to say Johnny Lomax. He's your 6. he's your captain. Moses and Baye's experienced enough. Jack Wellesley's played enough games. You've got Darryl Clark there. There's enough nous, enough know-how, enough experience. If it's getting a bit panicky, just lads, calm down. Let's just go through it. We know what we're doing here. Even though we've got so many injured players in the stand, there's enough there to organise it and to get it right. When we didn't score, I mean, ironically, as soon as they went back up to 12, Sam Royal went in, and I thought at that point there was only going to be one winner. Unfortunately, it wasn't us. But the effort, yep, very good. But that should be a prerequisite for a professional team.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to praise it overly.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Pleased to meet you.
Right.
Opinions?
So, first thing I want to do is credit the defence on the goal line.
Yeah.
They were spot on. Second of all, I thought Wonga Blake worked his you-know-what off.
Backside.
Yeah, backside.
Is he good enough?
He has his...
There was only one for me. It was the one in the first half where we've kicked that ball out wide, and it looked like a dog chasing a tennis ball, where it goes right, where the dog sprints past it, and he's just like looking at it like in slow motion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
No, I get that, yeah. The bouncers beat him.
It's a
But
beautiful analogy.
I think...
like my dog. Dozy.
Is your dog free next week to go to league?
Dozy, but might have bad guts.
But yeah, I mean, I think there was moments in the game where Ritson kicked it from the sideline. He's trying to create something. And little things that are sort of like, do you know what, the effort is there, like you said before.
Ritson, another one. He's a championship player at best.
Yeah.
His positioning's never right. He never gets that bit of space.
But I don't think he's at fault for that game. Like you know,
No, absolutely not.
I think he's almost like the wrong.
I could go through 1 to 13 here.
To pick on. And I know like we have picked him out in the past when he has had bad games, and as you say, he's probably not of the class that you want a starting winger to be. But you're right. There's more senior pros out there who needed to stand up tonight.
Yeah.
You can allow your young lads to make errors. You've got to expect it. You can't have so many senior pros not completing sets and having such indiscipline over and over and over again. I'm sick to the back teeth of talking about our indiscipline, ball in hand or actual foul play. And in that first half, we give away 3 penalties, pretty much in the opening couple of minutes. And you just think, why are we killing ourselves like this? And that lies on the players rather than the coach.
Go on, I've interrupted you.
So I think we have 3 lads out there who are still teenagers, if I'm right. Johnny Vaughan, Noah Stevens, and
Harry
Robertson. Yeah. They were the hardest workers in that game.
For me, listen, it's quite obvious this team isn't good enough to be winning trophies as it is. I think even when you get players back, I think now you need to say solidly Harry Robertson, Johnny Vaughan, Noah Stevens. They're staying in your team, and you're building for potentially 2026. And we're going to bring players in, but if these players are the future, just let them get through the teething stage.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's a good learning for them because they're learning the hard way. They're learning that first team Super League rugby is a tough environment. It will do them the world of good long term, but there should be more leadership round about them. Regarding, we spoke about a couple of players there are starting wingers tonight. If they're not Saints standard, that's not their fault. If they keep getting picked despite showing that they're not standard, then the fault doesn't lie with them, it lies with the people who are putting them there. This isn't a well out statement. What I'm saying is the coaches need to have a long hard look what they're doing in training and what they're doing in terms of recruitment, because we keep signing players at that standard, then the standard will start to drop. We certainly shouldn't be signing guys in their mid-30s as well, if the rumours are to be believed, regardless of who they are, because that tells us that what does that say to Johnny Vaughan, what does that say to Ben Davis or anyone else? We're bringing in an old guy to take your jersey. That's not a good message, in my opinion.
Well, we don't think that's going to be true, but we will see in the next couple of weeks.
The positive I'll take from that is we were never out of that game until the last 10 minutes.
Is that a positive when you're playing against 12?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. We should be, even with one man down, we should be one up rugby up the middle, tire them out, and then throw it around when they're knackered. But I think they tried to force it.
We've gone down 12-0 early on. Wire have exposed us down our right edge. Johnny Vaughan's making his full debut. You've got T. Ritson, who defensively not sure if yeah. Is that a really bad option to put them as a pair to play together for the first time when you know Matty Ashton has got pace to burn, and they seem to have just gone, right, let's just go left.
Well, my thought would last week Percy played right centre. That might have been the best option tonight. I know Wonga's maybe not everyone's cup of tea, maybe not everyone's favourite player, but he's a bit more experienced to have Johnny Vaughan perhaps on that side. That's a team selection issue, a coaching issue. That's something that they might have to answer questions on. I thought Johnny did okay. It was a tough shift. I say that Warrington left edge is pretty potent because there's numerous problems there.
It just strikes me we've hung the lads out to dry.
I think while it's at a lower level, Ritson and Vaughan have played alongside each other. It's Ritson's preferred side to be on the right. I'm not sure about Vaughan, I'm not seen enough of him. While it's at a lower level, they've done dual reg and played a couple of games together. Whether we've seen that as they kind of know how each other will play, if that's good enough to defend against the likes of Matty Ashton, who is one of the best wingers currently in Super League, is another matter entirely.
I'd have to watch it back again, but it looked like very early on as well, Johnny's a little bit slow in the defensive line and getting exposed a little bit.
He grows into the game.
Sorry, I mean Johnny Lomax.
Oh, Johnny Lomax. I thought you meant Vaughan. I was going to say Johnny Vaughan grows into the game tonight.
Yeah, I've got no issues with Johnny Vaughan there at all.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But Johnny Lomax in the halves, is he doing enough for you?
I want to see more. I want to see more from
and I know he's your favourite player.
Yeah, but I want to see more from Johnny, just because, again, I'll go back to that 11. You're against 12, you're against 11, and drop off balls, give it to the props. We're on their line. Get it swung out. Listen, if you start making mistakes, but because you're trying, you can forgive that. We're having a go. There were a couple of things, like you mentioned the T. Ritson kick through, where you're like, don't mind. We're trying to do something. It's the last. Someone's got to kick it. So it's not come off for him. But there's a try there. There's a couple where we kind of have knocked on when attempting to throw it in that kind of left-hand corner for us from the west stand. But they're few and far between, mate. They're absolutely few and far between. It needs to be better, and
you got it.
Yeah.
I was going to slap that fly there.
Quicker
reactions than Blake trying to catch a high ball.
Wello obviously needs players back. He desperately needs players back.
The worry is
are they going to come back too late?
Are they going to come back too late for it? Listen, we've got Lee next week, which doesn't look like a good proposition. Are we away? Are we away to Lee? Yeah. And then you've got Hull away, and if those two don't go our way, I almost think, even if they don't go away, whatever you're going to do with Wello and extending him or not extending him, is it at the point of the year where you let him see the year out regardless?
I think so. We've had this discussion up on the terraces tonight. Who do you bring in short term? Is there someone available short term that you would? If you're going to have that conversation.
Lauren Fresno?
Imagine our fan base if Lauren took over. Imagine our mentions on social media.
I'd just turn it off.
Oh, you'd have to.
I'd turn it off and make it registered members only.
Yeah. I'd have to log out.
One thing I will say though is not going to call the ref out or the video ref because they did the job.
They got everything right, sadly.
We had this chance to win that game.
He's put them down to 12, and I'll go back to that Nicholson red card. Probably by the way it's been,
against Salford.
by the way the game's been refereed this year, I can see why it's red. Does any rugby league fan want to see that as a red card? Because quite frankly,
at 12-0 down, yes.
yeah.
But
I'm going to be honest here.
Generally speaking, you don't.
Even on replays, I'm watching. Probably he's going to get a yellow at worst. Games shouldn't be getting decided by cards like that. Why should we win that by 40, 50?
The thing I want to point out is that, and again, not calling out the referee, but the fact of the matter is, Chris Kendall didn't even give a penalty. Which is I found that quite strange.
Well, again, Noah has to stay down for it, doesn't he?
And
to be fair, he was clobbered, so that's why he stayed.
And the thing, I don't like players doing that, but if opposition players are going to do it and getting the benefit, we need to do the same.
To be fair to Noah, I think he was
Yeah,
been bingoed by
Yeah.
him.
No one doesn't stay down. He's a big lad, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But little things like the forward pass, was it obstruction for Percival's one?
It was a double knock on the
Double knock on.
Yeah.
So little things like that where it just cost us. Little tiny mistakes. We went over the line 6 times in that game, I think.
Does anyone want to go and give a positive and say we probably have
I've got a
we had
positive.
3 tries. We had 3 tries that could have been tries, but obviously weren't. No, I'm not giving that. Go on, give us a positive.
I've got positive. Yeah.
The young lads are working so hard. They're working their socks off. I think the likes of Robertson deserves his place in that team. The likes of Vaughan, like you say.
I'd rather see them beaten there, make the mistakes, and grow from it.
I'd rather, like you say, like with the Ritson one, he's tried to kick it in, he's tried to play something, he's tried to create something. I can handle losing the ball when we create something, rather than just one-up rugby every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Positive. What a beautiful day, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, we've had the sunshine.
Yeah, I left Scotland this morning. It was wet. I'm going home tomorrow morning. Apparently, it's going to be wet. So, if nothing else, I've had a bit of sun.
It's probably the first time you've had suntan lotion on for a while.
That's very true, actually. I can't argue with
this
that.
is your equivalent of going to Tenerife. Right, interchanges.
Is that it? That's the
Yeah,
comment.
it might as well be. Sam Rawls stood on the touchline for 10 minutes waiting to come on. Then we bring Lewis Dodd on. Listen, people who are booing him, have a look at yourselves. I understand that there may well be anger there from how he conducted himself at the end of the last home game. I understand that, but I don't think booing him, there's not a win there for me anyway.
No.
But he comes on and we start shifting things about. Sam Rawls comes on and actually has an immediate impact. And you've got John Bennison on the bench, who obviously comes on for Percy because Percy goes off injured with 3 minutes to go. So you've used them all. With that short on numbers, it's still, as much as Wello said it in his presser in the week, that it's not pre-planned. I can't see anything but it being pre-planned. I can't see anything else. It just looks like, we're going to roll the Stevens and Parsi subs, and then we'll see when someone else. Samuel, you can come on after an hour, maybe do 10 minutes and then come back off again. We need bodies back. We need bodies back to give us a better bench, because that bench was paper thin tonight.
I think the biggest issue is Wellens is playing the hand that's dealt to him.
He's
playing what's in front of him. He's playing with what he's got.
And I think Leon Cowan would have probably been on that bench had he not been banned for Swinton. He got a game banned for a high shot. So
I just don't think at this moment in time we are maximising what we've actually got, though.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's mitigation with the amount of players we've got missing, and it's not just the amount of players.
Is the mitigation?
standard. Well,
there's no mitigation
to a
for
degree.
being 13 on 11 and not looking like scoring.
No. Yeah, to agree in terms of I'm talking options off the bench and who we can rotate. There's a mitigation there, but yeah, I totally agree. That's what I started with myself. That we can't, you've got professional players there, young guys, but plenty of senior guys. There's no mitigation in for that. There is for the injuries in terms of who we can call upon, but then it'll be a good learning curve for some of these young guys, because they're not coming in and finding it's all rosy, winning by 40, 50 points like some young players did, and then when they get something goes wrong, they don't know how to deal with it. This might battle harden some of the young lads, but the senior guys, you've got to step up now. It's now or never, quite frankly. The season's on the turn, and we could be mid-table by next weekend.
We are not pretty much are mid-table, aren't we? The only thing I can say is we did the show yesterday.
Yeah,
it's nothing we didn't say was going to happen.
I said Warrington by 14.
I did Warrington by 8.
One last thing I will say is, I understand we're in.
And they let me down.
We're in a transitional period now.
Yeah.
Do you have to put the stake in the ground and actually say we are in a transitional period?
We are, but we're not at the same time, because we had a chance to. Casford could have won it.
Didn't.
Wigan could have won it.
Didn't.
Yes.
Tonight should have won it.
Didn't.
And it's we had a spell of the last half hour of the first half.
What was the one before that? Salford. Didn't.
Yeah.
We had a spell the last half hour of the first half up until I'd say about 65 minutes, where we were on top. We were on their line pretty much the whole time, and they didn't make it count enough times.
Yeah.
And that's where we're lacking that. That's where we're lacking that experience, that leader, as you said earlier.
Yeah, that's it.
We need someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck.
What I'd like to say, and the only thing positive I will say is, if we are in transition and there's a lot of young guys in the team, as annoyed as we are, as a support, and I know most people will do that, we need to try and stick with the team as much as possible, because their confidence is going to be in their boots. As a lot of the young guys are going to be really feeling it, I think as a fan base, as much as possible, please try and stick with the guys.
I almost think at this moment in time we are better playing away from home. Playing at home, our confidence looks like it's down in its boots.
It seems like there's a lot of pressure at home at the minute. And
This
away
pitch,
from
it's been cursed by them. Look.
yeah, there is a lot of pressure playing at home, and obviously we expect a high standard, and we always have. But we need to understand, with so many players out, there's players coming in for the academy, and they need to get behind those players,
Absolutely.
win, lose or draw.
Is there a worry that we are now at Cunningham-esque levels of performance? So, despite all the mitigation and the injuries and everything else, there's that many holes in the team. It's a bit like Swiss cheese.
No.
No?
The last 4 games, Salford, Castleford, Wigan, Warrington, we've not been out of those games. We've been there up until like what, 5-10 minutes. We've been there and we've been in the game. I feel like with Cunningham, there's times where we were getting slaughtered. But those kids coming through now, like you say, Vaughan, Stevens, Robertson, they're working so hard and they deserve all the flowers, especially tonight as well.
Does it take us back to, have we got the yips though, that we're scared of throwing it about against 11? Because that, I would say, is where you start talking about the Cunningham-esque thing of not throwing, of being scared to be more expansive.
But is that not
against
something
11.
is that not something you should be practicing in training? Right,
It
like
probably is.
like
It probably
13 on
is.
12.
It probably is.
But it doesn't look like we've got an idea.
But, yeah, but it's different. It's different in training compared to at game level. But it just looks like we've got the ball stops too much in certain players' hands, and it needs to be better.
I'll pose a question here. Is it the way we're being coached to play generally in terms of keeping it tight? So when it comes to a situation where we need to move it, are we not quite sure what to do?
I'd argue that's a very valid point to make.
And I think on the evidence of the last couple of games, the answer probably has to be yes. Again, that's not a massive criticism of Wellens, but like everybody at the club, you know, they're there to be questioned. They've got to own performances, results. So I think, as you say, I felt it was a pertinent question. One thing I say, we sideways when we were waiting, there was a couple of Warrington fans going by, and one of them gave a lovely critique. He just said, "F Redvee." Thought, thank you. So if you're watching, thanks for viewing.
Did I miss that? Oh,
So there you are.
I like to meet our fans.
So there you are. So
One
you've
thing
got
I
a
will-
mention, my man. Enjoy your night.
One thing I will say on that is they did seem scared to throw it to the wings, because so many times in the last few games, our wings have got the ball and they've been bundled into touch.
It would be interesting to look at how many different combinations and how many times it's changed this year. I can't think of 3 games where we've had the same combinations.
We've not had a settled back 4 for so long.
No, right, before we finish, what's your name, sir?
Gaz.
Gaz, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And just because we've had Cass fans saying you never give them praise, and just in case there's any Wire fans who've got to the end of the 25 minutes and think we haven't said anything nice about them, Kev's going to tell you how wonderful they are.
Again, I thought they were great. I thought they were full of energy. I felt like even when they went down to 11, they looked like the team that were most likely to score. They looked just set up perfectly. They've got pace, they've got guile, and they've got a lot of things that we lack.
And thank you very much to Chris Kendall for making sure that we didn't lose by 50. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we will catch you for another record-breaking viewing performance at Lee next week. We should put ads on these, shouldn't we? There we go. Right, Cast What Weekend. Catch you soon.